Have you ever wondered what happens behind the medical curtain? When a doctor is treating their own father or mother? Do you imagine they're writing prescriptions for that new, expensive powder they saw advertised on a podcast? I can tell you right now, that's not what happens. When it's our family on the line, all the marketing noise, all the trendy fads, they just melt away. We stop being public-facing experts and just become sons and daughters. And we go straight to the fundamentals. The core biochemistry that we know actually works. I had a conversation a few months ago that perfectly illustrated this. I was at a major conference on metabolic health, speaking with a colleague, one of the top endocrinologists in the country. We'll call him Mark. We were away from the presentations and I asked him a very direct question. I said, "Mark, let's cut through all the noise. If you had to tell your own 65-year-old father to eat just 3 things for the rest of his life to protect his health, his energy, his very manhood, what would they be? Not for a textbook, for your dad." He got this serious look on his face. He looked around like he was about to share a state secret. And the list he gave me, it wasn't what I expected. It wasn't the typical eat more broccoli and chicken breast advice. It was specific. It was strategic. And frankly, it was brilliant. We're going to count them down from 3 to 1 because the last one, the number 1 food on his list, was the one that truly surprised me. It was the one he said made the biggest difference for his own father. This is insider information, so grab a notepad. Let's get into it. Okay, so for number 3, Mark looked at me and said, "First, you have to fix the mineral deficiency. All the fancy stuff is useless if the core signaling systems are broken." I was thinking, here it comes, magnesium pills. Everyone pushes magnesium supplements. And supplements have their place. But he shook his head. He said, raw pumpkin seeds. Yeah, pepitas, the little green seeds that most people just see around Halloween. But he said, from a purely biochemical standpoint, for men over 60, they are a mineral powerhouse. He broke it down into 2 simple parts. First, magnesium. He called it the great forgotten mineral. As we get older, our absorption of magnesium drops and our diets are often deficient. This is a disaster because magnesium is the spark plug for over 300 different enzymatic reactions in your body. It governs everything. Low magnesium is directly linked to muscle cramps, especially those horrible leg cramps at night that wake you up. It's linked to high blood pressure, because magnesium is a natural calcium channel blocker. It helps your blood vessels relax. It's also critical for regulating the neurotransmitters that give you deep, restorative sleep. Second, prostate health. This is where it gets incredibly specific for men. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of zinc. And just like selenium, zinc is found in its highest concentration in the prostate gland. It's absolutely essential for prostate health. It helps regulate testosterone conversion, and, along with compounds in the seeds called phytosterols, it has been shown to help manage the symptoms of BPH, or an enlarged prostate. You know, the fist around the hose analogy, that feeling of a weak stream or having to get up multiple times a night. Zinc and phytosterols are the prostate's best friends. His dad, he told me, was a typical guy. He was getting terrible leg cramps at night. His blood pressure was creeping up, and he was getting up twice a night to use the bathroom. He thought it was just part of getting older. Mark was very specific on the how. They must be raw or just lightly toasted, he said. The high-heat roasted, salted ones from the bar? They're mostly dead food. The healthy fats are rancid. He gave his dad a simple assignment. He said, "Dad, I want you to have 1 small handful of these a day. And if you want a snack, here's a trick. Take a handful of raw seeds, add a tiny drizzle of honey and a dash of cinnamon. It kills a sugar craving and it's pure medicine." That was the foundation. He said his dad's leg cramps were gone in 2 weeks. That's number 3, the mineral foundation. All right, for number 2 on the list, Mark leaned in a bit closer. He said, okay, the seeds are for the minerals and the prostate. This next one is a targeted weapon. This is for the brain and the heart. I was thinking, fish oil pills, for sure. But he shook his head again. He said, "A small handful of walnuts every single day." This seemed too simple, but he explained the insider logic. It's all about the type of fat and the antioxidants. First, alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. This is the plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Your body can convert this into EPA and DHA, the ones you find in fish. But ALA has its own unique benefits. Mark described it this way. If your brain is a high-performance computer, ALA is the coolant. It's a fundamental building block for your brain cells and is incredibly potent at fighting neuroinflammation. That's the brain fog that so many men over 60 complain about. That feeling of not being as sharp as you used to be. Second, the polyphenols. He said, "A walnut looks like a brain for a reason." They are loaded with a unique combination of antioxidants and polyphenols that aren't found in most other foods. These compounds are like a special forces team that protects your delicate brain cells from oxidative stress. This isn't just about feeling sharp today. It's about protecting your memory and cognitive function for the long haul. And then there's the 1-2 punch, heart health. The same properties that protect your brain, the ALA, the healthy fats, the antioxidants, are critical for your cardiovascular system. They help lower LDL, the bad cholesterol. They make your arteries more flexible, and they help reduce blood pressure. For men over 60, Mark said, heart health is manhood. You can't separate them. Mark's father was in that classic senior slump. He was becoming forgetful. He'd walk into a room and forget why. He told Mark he just didn't feel sharp anymore. Mark told him, "Dad, along with the seeds, I want you to add a small cupped handful of walnuts to your breakfast. Put them on your oatmeal or just eat them while your coffee brews." About a month later, his dad called him. He said, "You know, it's the strangest thing. I finished the Sunday crossword puzzle yesterday. I haven't been able to do that in over a year. I just feel clearer." That was the brain-heart weapon. That was number 2. Now for the one that really blew my mind. All right, this is it. Number 1. After he told me about the seeds and the walnuts, I thought I knew where he was going. Maybe blueberries for antioxidants, or beets for blood flow. All good things. But he shook his head, and his voice got even quieter. "Doc," he said, "this is the secret weapon. This isn't really a food, it's a potion. It's what we talk about when we discuss extinguishing systemic inflammation. Forget the fad supplements. This is from the earth, and it works on a level that most people don't understand." He said the number one thing he put his father on was a nightly golden milk ritual. I was stunned. I thought golden milk was just a trendy coffee shop drink. He saw the look on my face and laughed. "Not the 500-calorie sugar bomb from a cafe," he said. "I'm talking about the real, ancient recipe. It's a biohack." He explained it's a two-pronged attack on the two things that rob older men of their quality of life: chronic pain and the inflammation that drives it. Let's talk about the pain. The villain here is chronic inflammation. Imagine you have a tiny, smokeless fire burning inside your body all day, every day. It's what makes your joints stiff in the morning. It's what turns into arthritis. It hardens your arteries. The core of golden milk is turmeric, which gets its bright yellow color from a compound called curcumin. Curcumin is, flat out, one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories on the planet. Think of it as the fire department. It goes into your system and directly helps to put out that low-grade fire. But, Mark said, here is the insider tip. Turmeric by itself is almost useless. Your body is terrible at absorbing it. You must have 2 activators to unlock it. Activator 1, a pinch of black pepper. The piperine in the pepper does something amazing. It increases your body's absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. It's not for taste, it's the key that unlocks the door. Activator 2, a healthy fat. Curcumin is fat-soluble. It needs fat to be shuttled into your system. This is why the milk part is so important. He said, use an unsweetened almond milk or light coconut milk, something with a bit of fat. Never use skim milk, and I'd avoid regular dairy, which can be inflammatory for many people. The traditional recipe also includes ginger, which is another powerful anti-inflammatory that soothes the gut. and cinnamon, which helps with blood sugar control. This is where Mark's story about his father got really emotional. He said his dad was in a bad place. The pumpkin seeds had helped his cramps. The walnuts had cleared his head. But he was still living on pain pills for his back and his knees. He was stiff every morning. He'd given up gardening, which he used to love, because he couldn't kneel. Mark taught him the recipe. "Dad, this is the last piece of the puzzle. Every night, an hour before bed, I want you to gently warm up a cup of this. Drink it like a ritual." He said for the first week, his dad just said it was nice and warming. But in the second week, his dad called him and said, "I didn't reach for the pill bottle when I got out of bed this morning." After a month, the change was dramatic. He was sleeping better, not because the drink is a sedative, but because he wasn't being woken up by pain. He started going back into his garden. He was bending down. The fire was out. Mark looked at me and said, "The seeds gave him a foundation. The walnuts gave him his mind back. But the golden milk? The golden milk gave me my dad back." So let's recap the list. Number 3, raw pumpkin seeds. Your foundational source of magnesium and zinc for mineral balance and prostate health. Number 2, walnuts. A targeted weapon for brain health and heart protection. And number 1, golden milk. The secret weapon to extinguish inflammation, fight joint pain, and reclaim your mobility. This isn't a list I pulled from a generic health blog. This was a real conversation between two doctors talking about what really moves the needle, what we would recommend to the people we love most. My challenge to you is this: don't just take my word for it. Pick one. Just one of these to start. Maybe it's the pumpkin seed snack. Maybe it's the walnuts with your breakfast. Or maybe it's the warm cup of golden milk before bed. Commit to it for 30 days. That's it. See how you feel. Pay attention to your energy, your sleep, your aches and pains. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Let me know in the comments which one you're going to try first. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this information valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps get this kind of insider knowledge out to the men who need it.